there is something about you that evil simply cannot resist. No matter how much it tries to avoid you, no matter how much it strengthens itself in its shadows, it is drawn to you like a moth to a flame. And when it approaches, it doesn't find weakness, it doesn't find hesitation, but something that completely disarms it in your light, in your essence. Evil cannot resist God's chosen ones, not because of a visible battle or a physical confrontation, but because it is forced to face something it cannot comprehend, a silent and unwavering force that comes from within you. Many times, darkness tries to attack what it believes to be vulnerable, attracted by your courage, by your ability to stand firm when everything around seems to be falling apart. What evil doesn't expect is that every time it approaches a chosen one, it ends up facing something much greater than it had imagined. It is drawn to your presence, to something it cannot explain or predict, and what you are about to see now are the reasons why this attraction is so irresistible to evil. Today, you will discover the 7 reasons why evil cannot resist the chosen ones. Each one reveals a reality that the spiritual world knows, but not everyone is prepared to understand. By knowing these reasons, you will see how the simple fact of existing as a chosen one causes evil to lose its strength before you. Prepare to dive deep into spiritual truths that not only challenge darkness but also reveal why your presence is an irresistible threat to evil. The first reason that makes the chosen ones irresistible is their courage. When a chosen one stands with courage, something powerful happens. Evil, instead of backing away, is irresistibly drawn. This may seem contradictory, but it is precisely your courage that provokes this reaction. Evil cannot bear the thought of someone who does not bow to fear, who remains firm in the face of adversity. Like a predator attracted to the strength of prey that does not yield, evil feels the need to confront you. However, when it gets close, what it encounters is something that disarms it, an invisible, spiritual force that becomes an impenetrable barrier. Each time it tries to bring you down, it is consumed by your courage, by an energy it cannot control. Evil feeds on weakness, hesitation, fear. When it sees someone courageous, especially a chosen one, it perceives a challenge to its very existence. Its nature is to confront what it cannot understand. When it senses the courage in you, evil is inevitably drawn, like a shadow trying to reach the light. However, what it does not realize is that this courage is not just a human quality, it comes from a divine source. And the courage you carry destroys it, weakening its influence until it can no longer resist. Every step you take toward your purpose, driven by courage, is like a sentence of defeat for evil. You may have noticed how, in moments of courage, adversities seem to multiply. This is no coincidence. Evil is drawn to the strength you demonstrate, but it has no way of predicting what happens next. When it tries to attack you, expecting to find fear or hesitation, it is undone. It approaches, believing it can use its weapons against you, but the closer it gets, the more it feels the power of your courage, which consumes it completely. Evil cannot understand how someone can remain standing, unshakable, and this inability to comprehend makes it vulnerable. This confrontation is not something visible. It is not a physical battle that you can see with your eyes, but a spiritual war that happens in the unseen. Evil tries to get close to you, drawn by your courage, but it is sucked into a reality where it has no control. The more it tries to attack you, the more you disarm it with the strength that comes from your faith and trust. It finds itself with no alternatives because it cannot fight against what it does not understand. The courage of the chosen ones comes from a place that is beyond its comprehension, and this renders it powerless, vulnerable to being undone. There is a profound truth that few perceive: every time you act with courage, you are, in fact, defeating evil in a silent but devastating way. It tries to drag you into chaos, but as it approaches, it is destroyed by your ability not to yield. Every act of courage is like an invisible sword cutting through the darkness. The more you move forward, the more evil dissolves before you. It is drawn to your strength, but it cannot resist it. It tries, but with each attempt, it is disarmed, its influence diminished, its presence weakened. Evil believes that if it cannot defeat you through courage, it will try to destroy you through pain. This is where it makes its biggest mistake. Evil thinks that by wounding you, it will weaken you. But what it does not understand is that for the chosen ones, pain has the opposite effect. pain, instead of being a weapon of destruction, turns into fuel for your strength. And this is where evil faces an even more terrifying truth: the pain of the chosen ones makes it tremble. Pain is the second reason why the chosen ones are immune to evil. Pain is something that people usually try to avoid, hide, or overcome as quickly as possible. But for the chosen ones, pain plays a completely different role. Evil approaches, believing that by inflicting pain it will find an opportunity to destroy. It bets that pain will diminish the strength of the chosen ones. However, what it cannot foresee is that pain, instead of weakening, actually strengthens. When evil inflicts suffering, it sees something unexpected: the chosen ones emerge even more powerful, even more determined. Pain becomes fuel that makes evil tremble because it is incapable of understanding this transformation. Evil is used to seeing pain as a final point, as the blow that ends the battle. It stakes everything on suffering, believing that by causing wounds it will create vulnerabilities. But the chosen ones rewrite this narrative. What evil does not know is that each time it tries to destroy through pain, it is actually forging a greater strength. Every tear shed by the chosen ones, every scar, is transformed into a symbol of resilience. Evil, which thought it was in control, suddenly finds itself disarmed by this extraordinary ability to turn pain into power. Have you ever wondered why the most difficult moments of your life, instead of destroying you, ended up strengthening you? This is no coincidence. Evil believes that by wounding you, it will find a weakness to exploit. But what it encounters is something it did not expect: a chosen one who, instead of giving in, rises with more strength. This spiritual dynamic confounds evil, which cannot understand how suffering, which should weaken you, turns into a spiritual armor. Pain, for the chosen one, is like a forge that tempers the soul, making it even more resilient and powerful. This is the greatest surprise that evil faces. It thinks that pain will weaken you, but in trying to bring you down, it comes face to face with a being that is immune to destruction through suffering. In attempting to use pain against you, evil ends up strengthening your essence, for pain connects you to something greater, something deep and spiritual that transcends the physical. Pain, for the chosen one, is a passage to transformation, an opportunity to rise even higher. Evil trembles before this reality because it sees its most powerful weapon being neutralized. There is something incredibly divine about the way the chosen one deals with pain. Where others would see defeat, the chosen one sees an opportunity for growth. Pain awakens something that evil will never be able to understand, a power that transcends human comprehension. By trying to use pain to cause destruction, evil ends up creating, without realizing it, an even stronger and unbeatable version of the chosen one. What should have been the final blow turns into a new beginning, a new strength rising from the ashes. This is why evil, when it tries to cause suffering, always ends up being defeated. It believes that pain is its most effective weapon, but pain, in the hands of a chosen one, is merely a path to empowerment. Every time you feel pain and choose to rise, evil loses its influence. It trembles at every new victory you achieve because it knows that no matter how hard it tries, it will never be able to defeat you through suffering. And this is when evil realizes something even more disturbing: it cannot understand how the inexplicable guides the chosen one. Another reason the chosen one is irresistible is their insanity when facing challenges. Evil thrives on predictability. It acts in a calculated manner, believing that all human beings follow patterns of fear, doubt, and insecurity. But when it encounters the chosen ones, it finds something that completely disorients it, a faith that defies all logic. The chosen ones are driven by an inexplicable confidence, a certainty that is not based on visible circumstances but on something much greater. To evil, this is madness. It expects the chosen one to retreat in the face of impossible situations. But what happens is quite the opposite: the chosen ones advance toward the inexplicable with a certainty that evil cannot comprehend. What evil doesn't realize is that this insanity of the chosen ones, this ability to move forward even when everything seems lost, is not the result of an irrational mind, but of unshakable faith. The faith of the chosen ones is something that transcends human understanding because it is not based on what the eyes can see, but on what the spirit can feel. When evil tries to use logic and reason to disarm the chosen one, it encounters something that cannot be explained with words. This faith, which seems like madness to those looking from the outside, is actually a spiritual force that dismantles evil's plans. Evil prospers in an environment of predictability, where it can control the variables and manipulate situations. It knows how to attack fear, how to exploit doubts. But when it tries to apply this same strategy with the chosen ones, it fails miserably. Because the chosen ones do not follow what is logical. They move in confidence, often ignoring apparent risks, and advance toward the unknown. This kind of faith destabilizes evil because it has no way to combat the inexplicable. It finds itself powerless before a force it cannot predict or manipulate. Have you noticed how, many times, the chosen ones rise up in situations where anyone else would despair? This happens because they do not allow themselves to be guided by what is visible, but by what they feel in their spirit. And this drives evil crazy. It tries to bring chaos and fear, believing that logic will prevail, but what it finds is a faith that defies reason. The chosen ones are driven by something that transcends circumstances, and this puts evil in a state of total disorientation because it cannot understand where this strength comes from. This is the true strength of the chosen ones, the ability to challenge what seems impossible. While evil tries to operate within its own rules, the chosen ones play by a completely different logic. They know that when everything around seems to be crumbling, there is an invisible force that sustains them. And it is this certainty, this trust in the invisible, that makes evil tremble. Because it knows that no matter how hard it tries, it will never be able to defeat a faith that does not depend on physical evidence or immediate results. Evil loses itself in this sea of uncertainties, where its logic dissolves in the face of the inexplicable. This inability to understand and predict the movements of the chosen ones is what gives them an advantage. They do not follow predictable patterns, they do not respond to fear in the way evil expects. This makes them uncontrollable, unpredictable. And evil, which depends so much on predictability for success, finds itself without options. It tries, but it cannot hold those who are moved by an invisible and inexplicable force. And thus, it dissolves, unable to resist this trust that transcends fear. What it calls madness is, in fact, the key that disarms it. But there is something even deeper that evil discovers when it tries to confront this inexplicable faith. It realizes that the chosen ones not only challenge logic with their faith, but also with their silence. A silence that, to evil, is deafening because it reveals an inner calm that it cannot penetrate. But before continuing, if you've ever found yourself isolated, bearing the burden of being different, our ebook may be perfect for you. It was created to help people like you, who are misunderstood for being special. In it, you will find precious guidance to discover the true purpose of your gifts. Additionally, you will gain immediate access to our exclusive Discord community. A safe and welcoming space where stories are shared and understood by others like you. Join us and share your experiences in a welcoming space. Plus, get access to unique and exclusive content. Check out the first pinned comment here in the video. Silence is the fourth reason why evil cannot resist the chosen ones. There is an immeasurable power in the silence of the chosen ones, something that evil could never anticipate. It approaches, expecting chaos, screams, and confusion, because it is in the tumult that it finds space to act. But what evil is not prepared to face is the profound silence that envelopes the chosen ones in crucial moments. This silence is not empty, it is filled with a spiritual presence that speaks louder than any word. While evil tries to sow discord and noise, the chosen one withdraws into an inner quietude that evil simply cannot penetrate. This silence is an invisible wall, a fortress that evil cannot scale. When evil cannot provoke an immediate reaction, it becomes disoriented. It thrives on reaction, impulse, agitation. But the silence of the chosen ones completely disarms it. Instead of responding with fear or anger, the chosen one remains firm in a peace that cannot be shaken. It's as if this silence were an impenetrable field, a sacred space where evil has no access. The more it tries to create confusion, the more it gets lost in the silence. Evil expects screams, struggles, desperate actions, but what it finds is something much stronger and more dangerous, a calm that makes it retreat. The silence of the chosen ones is deafening because it is not empty. It is filled with divine presence. Evil tries to penetrate this space, but it finds only the tranquility of a soul that trusts completely in something greater. This type of silence speaks louder than any word could. It carries with it a certainty that evil cannot shake, a confidence that disarms it with each attempt to attack. While evil tries to sow chaos, the chosen one remains at peace, and it is this peace that evil cannot resist. It needs a reaction to survive, but in the silence, it finds nothing to grasp onto. There are moments when the greatest strength of a chosen one is silence. While evil waits for emotional reactions, the chosen one responds with a serenity that destroys any attempt at control. This silence is a spiritual response, a declaration that evil has no power over one who is already at peace. The silence of the chosen ones is not passivity, it is a spiritual weapon that evil simply cannot withstand. It tries to invade this space, but the closer it gets, the more it is lost in this sea of tranquility, unable to find a breach. This spiritual quietude is what disorients evil. It is accustomed to provoking chaos and immediate reactions. But the chosen one, with their silence, makes it lose control. The silence of the chosen ones is proof that evil cannot shake those who trust completely in the invisible. When evil tries to approach, it is confronted with a calm that makes it tremble, a tranquility that weakens it. Evil finds itself without options because it needs noise, conflict, and chaos, and what it finds is a peace that completely disarms it. And so, evil realizes that its strategy has failed. It cannot penetrate the silence of the chosen ones. It faces a spiritual reality that it cannot understand, and this makes it retreat. But what it did not expect is that the chosen ones have another skill that is even more devastating for it, the ability to turn vulnerability into a shield. The ability to turn vulnerability into a shield is the fifth reason. Evil always approaches believing that vulnerability is a weakness, an open door it can use to attack. It trusts that when it finds a crack, it will be able to break through what remains. But with the chosen ones, the game is different. What evil cannot understand is that the vulnerability of the chosen ones is not a gap, but a disguised strength. What the world sees as weakness, the chosen ones turn into an indestructible shield. Every wound, every imperfection, every moment of fragility is molded and used as an invisible armor, where evil simply cannot penetrate. This inversion of power confuses evil. It believes that by exploiting moments of pain or doubt, it will find a path to destruction. However, what it discovers is that the vulnerability of the chosen ones does not weaken them, it strengthens them. By exposing themselves, the chosen ones open themselves up to something greater, something divine. Vulnerability creates a direct channel to spiritual power, allowing the chosen ones not only to survive the attack but to become even more resilient. Every time evil tries to exploit this vulnerability, it is faced with a shield it cannot see, but one it feels with overwhelming force. Vulnerability, for the chosen ones, is not a point of exposure, it is a point of connection with something greater. When evil tries to attack, expecting to find fragility, it ends up hitting an invisible protection. This protection does not come from the absence of pain but from the acceptance and transformation of that pain. Every scar, every painful memory, is used as an additional layer of strength. Evil cannot understand how something that should weaken can turn into an impenetrable fortress. And that is where it fails because it does not comprehend the depth of the spiritual connection that the chosen ones have with their own vulnerability. You may have gone through moments where you felt vulnerable, exposed, as if at the mercy of adversity. But what you may not have realized is that, in those moments, you were more protected than ever. Your vulnerability was not a flaw, it was an invisible shield that evil could not touch. The chosen ones are masters at turning what seems like weakness into a fortress. Evil may try to attack, but its attempts are blocked by a force it cannot comprehend. It finds itself without options because every attack is reflected back, further intensifying the protection that surrounds the chosen ones. This dynamic renders evil powerless. It tries to exploit the cracks, but instead of breaking through, it is blocked by a spiritual power it never expected to encounter. The vulnerability of the chosen ones becomes their greatest weapon because it is an expression of total trust in the divine. Evil, expecting an easy victory, is forced to retreat, defeated by the invisible force that surrounds the chosen ones. It tries again and again, but its efforts are futile because vulnerability, instead of being a weakness, turns into an indestructible shield, a barrier that evil cannot cross. However, evil does not give up so easily. It realizes that if the vulnerability of the chosen ones cannot be used against them, it needs to try something different. It then tries to attack in another way, hoping to find a breach in what most confuses its logic. It believes that by confronting the chosen one, it will cause an uprising, pushing the chosen one over the edge. But little does it know that the chosen one has a secret pleasure in confrontation, which only makes them stronger. What evil never expects to find in a chosen one is the secret pleasure that arises during spiritual confrontations. For evil, confrontation should cause fear, panic, and despair. But instead, the chosen one feels an inner joy, something deep and silent. This pleasure comes from the certainty that, in every battle, they are reaffirming their mission and their connection with God. Evil cannot understand this reality. It tries to use the confrontation to break the spirit of the chosen one, but with every attack, the chosen one grows stronger. This strength, invisible to the eyes of the world, comes from the pleasure of knowing that their victory was guaranteed long before the battle began. This pleasure is not based on the pain or difficulty of the confrontation, but on the conviction that the chosen one is protected and guided by a divine force. Evil becomes disoriented when it realizes that the chosen one not only faces the challenge with courage but finds an unshakable peace in the midst of chaos. This peace comes from the certainty that they are not alone in the battle. Every attack from evil is, in fact, an opportunity for the chosen one to reaffirm their position as someone who has already won, who has already been marked by victory. Evil cannot resist this confidence, and it is this confidence that disarms it. Imagine facing a battle knowing that the outcome is already decided in your favor. This completely changes the dynamics of the confrontation. The chosen ones enter spiritual battles not with fear, but with a serenity that confuses evil. Evil, expecting to see despair, finds only an impenetrable calm. This secret pleasure that the chosen ones feel in confrontation comes from this deep peace. It's not that they enjoy suffering, but they understand that every battle is a confirmation of their strength. They do not fear confrontation because they know that with every challenge, they are only closer to reaffirming the victory that already belongs to them. This pleasure in confrontation is what baffles evil. It cannot understand how the chosen one can remain standing, how they can smile in the face of a battle that should be terrifying. Evil feeds on fear, but when it faces the chosen one, it finds something it cannot manipulate, an unshakable confidence. This confidence does not waver in the face of difficulties. On the contrary, the greater the confrontation, the stronger the chosen one becomes. This creates an invisible tension in the spiritual world, where evil realizes that its weapons are useless. Every blow it strikes only reinforces the chosen one's conviction that the battle has already been won. The chosen ones know that no matter how hard evil tries, it cannot change the final outcome. This knowledge brings a sense of power and control that evil cannot break. With every confrontation, the chosen one not only resists but rises spiritually. It is as if, in the midst of the storm, the chosen one finds a secret source of strength that evil cannot reach. This pleasure in knowing they are on the right side, the side that has already won, is what completely disarms evil. It expected fear and insecurity, but what it finds is an unshakable faith, a serene joy that weakens it at every step. Confrontation, for the chosen one, is more than just a simple battle. It is a constant reminder that they are not fighting alone, that there is a divine presence by their side. This knowledge transforms the experience of battle into something spiritual, almost sacred. Evil cannot understand how someone can see confrontation as an opportunity to grow and strengthen. But the chosen one knows that, in every battle, they are only reaffirming their position as a victor. The pleasure they feel comes from this certainty, the certainty that evil has already lost. And it is this same certainty that makes evil tremble. It knows, in its essence, that its defeat has already been sealed. And this is the truth it desperately tries to deny. Evil cannot resist the chosen ones because it has already been defeated. Every confrontation is just a confirmation of this reality that it tries to forget, but cannot. This awareness of its own defeat is what makes evil unable to resist the chosen one. There is a truth that evil tries to hide, both from itself and from the world. It has already been defeated. This defeat is not something distant or in the future, but a reality that has already been established. Evil tries to move, tries to resist, but deep down, it carries the painful awareness that its fight is in vain. It knows that against the chosen ones, its defeat was sealed long ago. Every time evil tries to attack, it is reminded of this truth that it so fears. No matter how hard it tries, it cannot escape this spiritual reality. And it is this awareness that makes evil feel powerless before the chosen ones. This truth is already written in the heavens and echoes throughout all spiritual realms. Evil was defeated at the cross, and that victory is final. When evil tries to confront a chosen one, it is not merely fighting a person, it is fighting a divine decree that has already condemned it. This defeat is inevitable, and evil knows it. It tries to create illusions of power, tries to sow doubts, but its conscience is marked by defeat. The chosen one, on the other hand, walks in this certainty, in this victory that has already been guaranteed. And this difference is what makes the confrontation between evil and the chosen one an unequal battle. Evil acts as if it still has a chance, as if it could change destiny. But it knows that, in front of a chosen one, this hope is illusory. Every time it tries to resist, it is confronted with the reality of its own impotence. Evil cannot alter what has already been decided by God. And the chosen ones, with their presence, are living reminders of this truth. They carry within them the mark of Christ's victory, and evil feels this. It tries to flee from this truth, tries to avoid it, but every time it comes near a chosen one, it is forced to face its own defeat. What confuses evil is that the chosen ones are not fighting for a future victory, they already walk in the reality of that victory. While evil tries to create barriers, the chosen ones advance with the certainty that these barriers are only temporary, because evil has already been defeated. There is no more room for doubt. This certainty is like a light that shines constantly, reminding evil of its impotence. It tries to strengthen itself, tries to resist, but every chosen one it encounters is like a mirror reflecting its true condition. It is a defeated enemy. Have you ever wondered why darkness seems so desperate? It is because evil knows its time is short. It tries to resist, tries to rise, but with every confrontation with a chosen one, it is reminded that its defeat is inevitable. This awareness of defeat is something evil carries like an invisible burden. It tries to hide it, but it is always there, present in every battle, in every attempt at resistance. Evil is always fighting against time, trying to delay what it already knows to be true, its final fall. And the chosen ones are the personification of this truth, a constant presence that reaffirms its defeat. Evil trembles before this truth because it knows that, no matter how hard it tries, it cannot alter what has already been decreed. Every time a chosen one rises, it is confronted with the reality that its struggle is futile. The victory of the chosen ones has already been written, and evil no longer has the power to change it. It fights, but with the awareness that it is merely prolonging the inevitable. And this is what destroys it from within, the certainty that no matter how hard it tries, it cannot win. Its defeat is something it tries to deny, but that is engraved in the universe. This is the greatest truth that evil cannot escape. Its defeat has already happened. It tries, it resists, but every chosen one is living proof that its fight is in vain. Evil may try to attack, may try to weaken, but the chosen ones are invulnerable because they walk in a victory that has already been guaranteed. And so, the presence of the chosen ones in the world is a constant reminder that, no matter how hard it tries, evil cannot resist. Its defeat has been sealed forever. You've made it this far because you are one of the chosen ones, those who, even unknowingly, carry a light that evil cannot resist. Every battle, every trial, every challenge faced is a reminder that evil has already been defeated, and your presence here only reaffirms this truth. As you walk this journey, you carry a power that darkness cannot bear, and with every confrontation, you reaffirm the victory that has already been sealed for you. It's not about fighting for a future victory, it's about carrying that victory within you. If you feel called to continue this journey as one of the chosen ones, don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel to be part of this community and strengthen your spirit with every video. Also, share in the comments what you felt during this journey. Do you also feel that evil cannot resist you? Let me know below. And don't forget to check the first pinned comment if you feel alone and misunderstood as a chosen one. In our ebook, you'll find guidance to illuminate your path and understand your unique gifts. Get it now and gain access to our exclusive Discord community, where you'll find support and understanding. Join us and share your experiences in a welcoming space. Plus, gain access to unique and exclusive content. And don't stop here. On the screen, you'll find a playlist of the secrets of the chosen ones, where we dive even deeper into these spiritual truths. Watch and discover more secrets that will change your perspective on life and spiritual confrontation. Remember, you have already won, and this truth echoes throughout the universe. Evil may try to resist, but it already knows it cannot defeat you. May you continue walking in this certainty and be an even brighter light in this world. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.